All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome along. Great to see you all. Fantastic for another Life Remixed and Equilibria Leadership Series session. I love putting these together every week, and we're going to keep revolving this over and over all through 2025 and beyond. Um, so just manage your microphones there if you can. So that's all good. But yeah, let's get started. Let's talk about purpose, vision, and goals. A few more people just arriving. Um, and I hope you're all getting value out of the shares of having the slides sent to you as well, to be able to watch and watch back and share with others as well. So today, session four of this Life Remix Leadership Series with Equilibria, purpose, vision, goals, success, defining your purpose, vision, and goals. Some people can just maybe just do it off the bat. For me, it was a long process of continually being asked really, really great questions by various professionals to get myself to a really, really good point where I could actually clearly define my purpose, my vision, and my goals. So just letting more people in as they arrive. Great stuff. So let's talk about this. So please rename yourselves if you know your e-colors. Don't worry if you don't. You can find out by going to the Equilibria website. Manage microphones. Put your webcam on if you can. We'll come back and forth with various questions and things like that. So you can use the webcam, you can speak, you can use the chat box, of course, as well. And do contribute your thoughts, feelings, and ideas as we go through. I think it's very, very important for us all to learn from one another, which is key, I would suggest. So, already know, most of you know who myself and Emma are. My tendencies are yellow over red as an e-colors coach, a success coach, and the author of Life Remixed. And many of you will also know Emma, my good lady, her e-colors are green over blue. She's an event director of Bamboo Events. And we're celebrating more than 20 years now of Equilibria and e-colors. The basic concept is that we can all dip into all of these areas at any time. And we all have a percentage of these. My yellow socializer is higher, 40%. My red is next, 26. My blue is 25. My green is my thinker is 9%. And we can show you all of these as we go through, but it'd be really great for you to find out your own percentages. Red greens and green reds can work more independently and more about the task. Yellow blues and blue yellows need more people around them, more interdependent. Yellow reds, red yellows will be faster paced, taking more action quickly, which sometimes can lead to a challenge. Green blues and blue greens need more time to process and more information orientated, which can also lead to a challenge. We can all learn from one another. Each of us needs to know something different. What we're doing, who's involved, how we're going to do something, and why we're doing it is dependent on your top e-colors as to which ones you would lead with and go with first. But again, understanding this about yourself and the concepts gives you a head start to communication. Mine and Emma's percentages for you. The relevance of the percentages is the different areas we can leverage on. You can see that I can leverage high on yellow socializer and Emma can leverage high on green and thinking, which again is very, very useful for both of us to leverage from one another and help one another. If you don't know your e-colors, you can look at these strengths and just think to yourself, yeah, where do I sit here? Personally, I don't see much in the green except for the word persistent, but I see myself in some of each of the others, but completely in the yellow. And so it's important for you to look at that and understand it, think about it for yourselves, introduce it to other people, and have lively discussions because that's what the e-colors does for us. It gives us the opportunity to get a start point towards purpose, vision, and goals. Whereas we all have strengths, we also do all have potential limiters. Sometimes without meaning to, they can just be subconscious. And if they're in our subconscious, we may well have repeating patterns that cause us problems. And a lot of therapy and then coaching is very much about developing yourself so that you only live in the strengths. If you only live in your strengths, you will be pretty much on purpose. Ultimately, managing the potential limiters is the key. And certainly, I continue to learn, as we all do, about making sure that we're doing our very, very best. Everything I do is Institute of Leadership approved, including all these great accolades and everything else that we have. Now, we've spoken a bit as we've gone through this series. We've talked about who you are and the e-colors. Continue to find out more about that. Some people think it's done in a 15-minute questionnaire. There's a lot to it. A lot more to it. Being grateful to all people for all opinions and attitudes and everything else, even if you don't really like it, can actually be a real game changer for each individual human being. Growing that belief and confidence by overcoming fears. We talked about that last week. And today we're going to talk about purpose, vision, and goals. We'll go through as we continue through this great leadership work we're looking at with positive mental attitude, leadership, and teamwork, using a lot of the Equilibria information that I've got in my toolkit. And we'll talk about money and growth as well. All of which
Hey mate, how's things?
very, very important to every person. I'm just going to mute you there, Martin. And we'll talk about money and growth as well as we go through all of this series together. Thanks again to Duncan for sending us this great graphic. It keeps making me smile. But yeah, writing thank you 100 times a day is not a punishment. That's why I'm smiling. So it's important. Then we looked at last week, we looked at the fulfillment grid. I believe I sent this out to you all as an attachment. But where are you? Where are you in your fulfillment journey? Are you overcoming fears? Are you in a positive place? Or are there still a few things you think actually I could improve on? You need to know where you are in order to be able to do something about any challenges that you might have. And the fulfillment grid is a really great start, along with e-colors, for the 12 months to life remix coaching and remixing your life. Certainly something I realized when I completed that there were gaps in. Thankfully, no gaps today because I just continue on the journey of fulfillment. So the key here around purpose, vision, and goals is you don't just pick up on things you like doing by chance. I remember Bob Proctor always said, find out your strengths and find out your weaknesses, Mark. And I always remember thinking, well, how do I do that? And then I did an e-colors questionnaire and it was plonked in front of me. And I was like, that's really, really useful. But it's not by chance, it's by design. You discover what you're good at because you were meant to discover it, which is really, really key. Yeah. Discover what you're good at. You are meant to discover it. There are no accidents or chance in life. It's very much about you're meant to discover it. And from the specific talents and gifts that you're able to define and determine your definite purpose and why do you do what you do? Why are you here? You start to understand it. That's why I'm so grateful to be working so closely with e-colors and Equilibria because it's a start point. It gives people a start point to understand their specific talents, their gifts, where their strengths are, what they can actually bring to the party for themselves and for all of humanity. Understanding these whys, why do you do what you do, why are you here, what's your purpose, is crucial. And I know there's a few coaching clients on the call. I'll be asking a few of you to maybe put something in the chat box or come up with your purpose or share it. Can you share your own clearly defined purpose? I'm looking at different people on the call. Would anyone like to use the chat box and put down anything that they have that is a purpose for them? And then also, if if you're comfortable putting in the chat box, then we can talk about it as well a little bit later in the call. But write down your own clearly defined purpose for why you do what you do. A lot of people will say, well, just got to earn the money. Okay, well, that's a little bit of a mistake because, yes, we've got to earn the money, but the way we earn the money is by being passionate about something and good at it, and making sure that we do something different that, better than others, any of our competitors, as an example. So think about your own clearly defined purpose. I'll share mine. Um, Martin, don't worry, mate. It's not a problem. I'm glad that you're here. Heather says to make a difference and save lives and set an example. That's lovely. That's excellent, Heather. Thank you. Audrey says to challenge and stimulate thinking in a safe environment so that we can learn and grow together. Lovely, Audrey. Thank you. David, to live a fulfilling life where I can support my family, friend. Yep, lovely. Martin's catchphrase there to make tomorrow safer than it was today. Absolutely lovely. Duncan, to leave people better off than how I found them. And Steve, currently working and reinventing. Brilliant, Steve. Yeah, absolutely. I know readers, you've got some stuff in there, Reed, you could share as well. But yeah, please do keep the chat box in there. Put down what your purpose is. I will come back. And any of you that want to share and talk about this at the end, I'd really like you to do so as well. But put it in the chat box and let's talk about it because we need to understand. Now, first and foremost, I apologize for this graphic that says men, okay? It's not about men, it's about humans, it's about people. But this was written 100 and something years ago by Napoleon Hill as he was studying 500, as it was at the time, men in Think and Grow Rich, because they were leading in business at that time. But ultimately, we all have an opportunity here. What a different story humans would have to tell if they would only adopt a definite purpose and then stand by that purpose until it had time to become an all-consuming obsession. Think about that. What a different story people would have to tell if they would only adopt a definite purpose and stand by that purpose until it had time to become an all-consuming obsession. I'll be honest, that's what I've been doing for the last 15 years, and it really does start to have a positive impact on your life. And now my purpose, as I'll talk about later, is an all-consuming obsession for me. I'm completely committed to it until my last breath on this planet. This is from James Allen as well. James Allen wrote an amazing book called As a Man Thinketh, again, written 150 years ago. Should be As a Human Thinks now. But ultimately, it's an incredible little book and I highly recommend it. James Allen, As a Man Thinketh. Because until your thoughts are linked with a definite purpose that you have decided on, there is no intelligent accomplishment. Very, very, very important to understand that. And you look at the world today and you look at people that are out there and they're all busy, busy running around doing all kinds of stuff. Is there a definite purpose that's an all-consuming purpose that is really going to get you and them somewhere with that intelligent accomplishment? It's very, very important to appreciate that and understand it because we need to make sure we're in a good place. Benji says financial independence to pursue bucket list. Brilliant, Benji. Yeah, absolutely. And purpose is connected, but it's also very much about what you're going to do to bring to other people, which we'll talk about in a moment, which is important. Reed says to bring joy, to protect, to serve, to appreciate and assure so that others feel happy, confident and energized. Very good, Reed. We'll come to each of you and have a chat later on. And to quote myself, a purpose will ensure you feel motivated and help you decide how to spend your time. And that's why it's so important that we define something and say that's what we're going to commit to and make it happen. So self-awareness, self-development, all of which happened because I ultimately fell on the floor one day and couldn't get up and was pretty much frozen in time for about 18 months. I needed to dig deep when I was on the floor. I needed to dig deep and understand what was really going on. So self-awareness, self-development, and then morning and evening routines started to help me define my purpose. It took time though, but here it is: to bring joy and knowledge, to inspire and create so that others learn to live, love and enjoy their lives to the full. And essentially, that's me. That's how I'm going to live the rest of my life. Any situation, can I bring some joy to it? Can I share some knowledge? Can I inspire something? Can we create something so that other people learn to live, love and enjoy their lives to the full? And that came about because I lost my way completely. I didn't know how to live, love, and enjoy my life to the full. So I've had to learn it. And by learning it, it's actually helped me drive that message through to other people. And I think Lewis Senior said last week, when you've been blessed, it's important for you to help and bless other people. That's why I do this stuff, because I really enjoy it. Great quote here from Bill Gove. If I want to be free, I've got to be me. Not the me that you think I should be. Not the me I think my wife thinks I should be. Not the me I think my kids think I should be. If I want to be free, I've got to be me. So I better know who me is. Great quote. Brilliant quote. Before we can really discover our purpose, we need to know who we are. And e-colors is a really great start to that. Or put another way, what we are. What's he talking about now? Well, what are we on this planet? Okay, so who or what are you? Are you your name? So I can see Reed, Stacey, I can see Javita, I can see Heather, I can see Martin. Are you your name? Is that who it is? Your name? That's who you are? No, of course not. Because that's just a word that's been made up by your parents, your lovely parents, to give you to be able to call you to them. It's not your name. You're definitely not just your name. You're not just your body either. How could you be? Okay. Tara's got a beautiful answer in the chat box there for sure. Are you your mind? A lot of people think this, right? A lot of people will consider or think that I think, therefore I am, which I understand, of course, it's a philosophical quote. I think, therefore I am. But actually, you can't just be your mind, right? You can't just be your mind. Let me ask you, if you choose, can you change your mind on any subject at any time? So if I asked you, if I showed you something different, if you had a certain set belief and I showed you something different, could you possibly change your mind? The answer, I think, has to be yes. The answer has to be yes. So if you can change your mind, then who or what are you? Which is important. Let me put it this way. Most people live in a physical world, what they see, hear, taste, touch, and smell. Okay. Living in that physical world is a day-to-day thing that we all work with, we all get in amongst. But it is only what we see, hear, taste, touch, and smell. And it's the lowest form of human appreciation, but it's there. We have been given a mind. Intellectually, we've been given a mind, which ultimately is thoughts and feelings. But that's not the tip of who we are. It's not the perfection of who we are. Who we are is a spirit and energy of soul. Tara said there in the chat box, a spiritual being having a human experience. We are. We are. And we have been given a mind to think and feel. And are we using that mind to think and feel to the very, very best? You've got a physical body to live in. You've been given a mind to create things. And you've been given emotions to keep in order, to keep you on track. Now, the question must be there. Are you listening to and consistently improving your emotions? And I know I've worked with some of you and continue to work with some of you one-to-one. It's an important thing to understand, to actually control, have a pause and play button on our wrist from our e-colors, to consistently improve your thoughts and feelings. By doing that, your spirit, energy, soul, your I am, is taking control of what you think and feel. And then that manifests into the physical body or the physical world even. So are you using all of this to your very best? Only you can answer that. I've had to learn it over a long period of time. But actually being in that position of controlling what I think and what I feel is a beautiful thing. Not being triggered is very, very important. But you must be willing to commit to change, to have an open mind, be willing to act. A great discovery for human beings is that you can change your own future by merely changing your attitude. I did. Robert Kiyosaki, great author, very famous. He says, if you realize that you're the problem, then you can change yourself. Learn something and get wiser, become wiser. Don't blame other people for your problems. How much time do we see spent in the world, in the corporate world, or wherever we're working? How much time do we see where people blame, shame, or complain about other people? If you realize that you're the issue, you can do something about it. Certainly, this is where understanding this information comes into play. Because attitude is the result of your thoughts, feelings, your words, and then your actions. So what you think and feel, what you say about yourself. So if you want to be a millionaire, say, I am a millionaire, even if you're not. Keep saying it and saying it and saying it. And one day it's going to happen somehow, some way. You need to believe and you need to commit. But your thoughts, feelings, words, and actions are the sum total of your attitude. And that's the important piece here. You know, we have the power to change our thoughts, which means over time, we can change our feelings, our attitude, our actions, and ultimately our results. We have the power to change our thoughts. And if we have that power and use that power well, we are on the right track to succeeding in our chosen field, whatever we decide to do. Lao Tzu said the foundation of a better life comes from watching your thoughts because they become your words. And some of you will recognize this because we use this at the end of the e-colors sessions. Watch your thoughts because they become your words. Your words become your actions. Your actions become your habits become your character, and ultimately your character becomes your destiny and therefore your legacy. It starts with what you think. If you think about all the books I'm recommending to you, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, think is the start point of that, and then and grow, and then rich. But that book's not really about money, and I highly recommend you all read it. It's very, very important. He also said, Napoleon Hill, he wrote this down, Andrew Carnegie, who was the richest person on the planet at the time. He said there's two envelopes of life. The first one is riches, which includes the following list of blessings. Now, think about this. You can put stuff in the chat box. Think about this. Are you blessed with sound health? Mine's okay. Could be better. Do you have peace of mind? Yes, I do. Do you have a labour of love of your own choice? Yes, I do. Do you have freedom from fear and worry? Absolutely. Do you have a positive mental attitude? Yes. And do you have material riches of your own choice and quantity? Always building. Always building. From your perspective, think about your own personal life. Are you living in that 1, 2, 3, 4, in those 6 bullet points? if you're living in those 6 bullet points, again, you'll be playing with your strengths from e-colors. You'll be getting there. Steve says 3 out of 6. Chris says he's getting there. Brilliant. It's work, isn't it? It's work, it's commitment. It's understanding those potential limiters that we might have been brought with, brought into the world with, etc. Emma says, I don't have 100% of freedom from fear and worry, but I am a green overthinker. Great share, Ems. But look, very, very important to look at this. And if you've looked at this, I think I ran an e-color session on Friday with a great team from Kinetic. And they actually said, I've got one of the top color reds to read out part of the session. And he read it out 18 months later after he read it out first. And what he said was, when I read out the red section 18 months ago, I really didn't like it at all. I felt really uncomfortable. And 18 months later, with lots of work and coaching and everything else, he read out the red section on Friday and he said, I feel really good about that now. That's what we're talking about here. We're talking about feeling good about ourselves, feeling positive, and getting there. Heather says 2 out of 6, getting there. Well done, Heather. Reed says that yes, but all for varying degrees. So for sure. And look, it's not a perfect world, right? Ultimately, we need to keep building and working on these things. But those 6 points there are really, really important. And if you're working towards them, then you're on the right track for getting to purpose. We have to also talk about penalties. If you neglected to take possession of your own mind, you may end up with some of these: ill health, fear and worry, indecision and doubt, frustration, discouragement throughout all of life, poverty and wants and needs, or a whole flock of evil. These are Napoleon Hill's words. A whole flock of evil consisting of envy, greed, jealousy, anger, hate, or superstition. Now, those are the 7 negatives that he talks about that many people can live in with their emotions. But we might be living in some of these at times. And it's our job, the pause and play button here on our wrists from our E-Colors wristband, which many of you may have seen me post yesterday, the video of Lewis and I talking about the wristband and the power of it. It's only a couple of minutes, but I urge you to watch it. If we're living in any of these things here, then we can take possession of our own thoughts and actually make a change. But it's on us. It's on us as individuals to do so. And we start to improve. We start to see things. But most people, as I said, are living in the physical world. You must move past that physical to really appreciate life. So into your thoughts and feelings, take over control of what you think and feel, and then get the success that you deserve. If you live in that second envelope, most people can be unhappy, sick, or broke, or all three. And that's not where we want to be. There's also a world of difference between knowing, feeling, and doing. So I've got a great coaching client who's green over red e-colors. And she said something amazing some time ago now, but she said, I know all this, Mark. I said, yeah, okay, great. She said, but my emotions haven't caught up yet, which I thought was such a great comment. It's all very well knowing it logically, but it's about aligning our feelings and then aligning our actions. Because you do have the choice to reprogram your subconscious mind. And it's a continued work, continued effort, releasing ourselves from the past and moving into a successful future. I use mantras and affirmations a lot. So that I am, I am this, I am that, I am a good public speaker, I am confident, I am strong, I am whatever it is. I use those a lot. And if you think about this, the soul, the spirit, the energy, that's the I bit. I am, and then I'm programming my thoughts and feelings by saying I am this, I am that. And it takes time, but like any muscle building in the body, the mind is the muscle the same. To be successful, you have to commit to these mantras and affirmations. Everything has a message. All pain, everything has a message. And it's important for us to really understand all of that so that we understand the pain is there to give us something that we need to understand. So listen to the body, listen to pain, listen to any of those things. If you're living in the envelope, the more negative envelope from time to time, listen to it. You think and feel success, you'll create success, but you must do it consistently. The way I look at this is the life I live today is the one I created in my mind 15 years ago when I was bankrupt. Happily married. I didn't visualize the French bulldog. That was Emma's visualization. But the point is actually understanding that is what we control what we think and feel, and therefore we get positive outcomes. You choose your thoughts. You take responsibility and you get to a place where you say, right, this is what I'm about, and you take responsibility in all areas of your life, because ultimately that's the true key to your freedom. Responsibility for what you think, ultimately. Make your own decisions. Many successful people make decisions quickly, they stick to them, and they are successful. And if they do need to change, then they will change. And keep in mind that doing nothing is also a decision. Investing in yourself is the best decision you'll ever make. You are worth it. It might be qualifications at work. It might be working with a therapist or a coach. It might be buying your eColors premium report. It might, whatever it is, you are worth it. So spend a bit of money on yourself, and understand where you come from. Unfortunate fact is most people invest more money in their car than they do in themselves, which is just the way that the world is for some reason. But you are worth it. So take control of how you think and feel with your self-image. Invest in yourself. Believe in yourself. And great things can happen when you believe, and you decide to do something. I love this quote from Bob Proctor. He said, in any moment of decision, the best thing you can do is the right thing. The next best thing is the wrong thing. And the worst thing you can do is nothing. It's a brilliant quote. It's a brilliant quote. You know, successful people offer decisions. And actually, one of the things I really wanted to improve, when I first found myself out to be a yellow over blue e-color, was I wanted to be a bit more decisive. And that's actually led to me becoming a yellow red. And remembering that no e-color combination is better or worse than any other. It's just literally I wanted to work on being a little bit more decisive. And it really helped me. It really helped me. But it took a long, patient effort. If you have a negative mind or negative thoughts and feelings, you're going to really struggle to get to where you want to get to with the defining of your purpose. Remember, comparison is the thief of joy, so please stop doing it. And what anyone else thinks is none of your business. If I told you you could not fail, what would you do? There is no failure, only learning. Okay. If someone else thinks you failed in a corporate position, or you lose your position, you lose your role, you lose your job, whatever it may be, fine. You weren't meant for that. But if you've got a clearly defined purpose, you can actually move past that and get to success. And I speak from experience here as well, because we do attract what we are. Okay. It's what we feel. And that's the important thing. Okay. If we feel good, we'll keep attracting more of it because it's a positive thing. Believe you can and you will do it. Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So you need to catch yourself now when you start to say, well, I can't do that, or I'm not good at that. The amount of people I coach, and then I hear the discussions and I reflect words back to them that they've said, which are actually mantras and affirmations of, I am not good at this, or I am not good at that. Well, you're clearly stating it to the world, to the universe, to all of us. You can improve in any area. You absolutely can. You get a coach or a mentor. The purpose of that is to get you there quicker. I've had many. Bob Proctor, Tony Robbins, Kevin Green, Lewis Senior from Equilibria and eColors. I've had nutritional coaches. Paul Roberts at Tribal now. Emma and I go to see him every Thursday for our personal training session together. And you can book into my diary anytime. But I've got experience from all of these people, and I love to share it. And I've made my own program, of course, as well. Key thing here is find someone who's living the way you would like to live, getting the results that you would like to get close to them, work with them, copy them, model them. It's the quickest way. Yeah, there's no giant secret here. Just work with someone who's already doing something that you really like, and you're like, I want to do more of that. I want to be closer to that. That's how you develop. It's how you learn new things. So being happy for no reason is what the purpose is all about. So decide what makes you happy and then just do it. Make a start, do something. Okay. Remember this as well. Pleasure is external, what goes on outside of us. Happiness is actually within us. So look for the happiness first within yourself, managing your thoughts and feelings, and then your actions. And then you can find pleasure in roller coasters or going to the football or whatever it is you like to do with your life, gardening. But that's pleasure, right? Happiness is what goes on within you, and that's the key. When you're deciding on your life's purpose, find your passion and what you're good at. Okay. If it's the two, if that's two things together, then that's great. If it's two separate things, also fine. Find your passion, find what you're good at, get paid, and work for your passion for sure. I'm fortunate enough that I've managed to pull it all together now, and it all makes sense to me. But what gets you buzzing and then decide and live your life on purpose? Mine is, remember, to bring joy to people. Well, music was a vehicle for that. These calls are a vehicle for that. The e-colors is a vehicle for that. You know, everything is on purpose for me. It gets me going. It gets me up in the morning, bringing joy to others. Stick to your decisions as well. Go for it, go for it, go for it, and stick to your decisions. So if you're thinking about making your purpose, okay, start like this. Now, it says in the blue circle there, what do I love to do? You could also put, what am I good at? And what do I love to do? These are really important questions to ask yourself here. And then you can do like a spider map off there of all the things that you love to do and you're good at, right? And you can start to think, well, where can I add value to other people's lives in order that I can start to make money at something that I really love to do? So start with 2. So mine is to bring joy, knowledge, inspire, create, remember. Yours can be whatever you want to be. And I don't own those 4 words. If those words help you, then great. To do that so that other people learn to live, love, and enjoy their lives to the full. That's me. So that. Yeah. Now, here's the key. Don't make it about money. Don't make it about yourself. Make it about what you do, what you can do, and what you like to do for others. Right? This purpose is big. It's big. And it's not about you as an individual. It's to do something. What do you do so that, etc., etc. Yeah? That's your start point. Okay? Get thinking about this. Don't come off this call and just go, oh, that's interesting. Come off this call and think to yourself, okay, I need to really think about this so that I'm really on track with my life. Okay? When you're living on purpose, there's no time for worry. There's no time for fear because you're living on purpose. It's whatever brings you the most happiness in life. And of course, you must earn the money in order to do so as well. Do what you most love to do, earn money while you do it. Okay. And it might be a side hustle from your job because you're really good at your job. Also fine. Okay. But you discover this stuff when you become aware and self-aware and aware of what's going on around you. Yeah. Again, e-colors, Equilibria is a great foundation for that. And remember, my purpose, as I've said it a few times now, is there. There is nothing about me or money in that sentence. Yeah. So take the focus off yourself and get out of your own ways. Great advice that I give to my coaching clients. Okay. Think about what value you bring to the world and think about a purpose or purposes. Okay. But it's not about yourself or money as far as I'm concerned. It's about understanding what you're going to do for others that's actually going to give you a great life purpose. And that others could be your loved ones close to you. It could be people out in the world. You know, my purpose there, joy, knowledge, inspire, and create, that is for everyone. That's for Emma as much as it is for Frankie and my mum and brother and every other person I interact with, every person I get the chance to spend some time with. I want to bring joy and knowledge. I want to inspire and create. Okay. And that's what I'm going to do. And you know, the people that don't get me, they don't interact with me anymore, and that's fine. That's also fine as well. Okay. Most people discover their purpose through patient effort and self-reflection. And these rather thin pictures of me from 20 plus years ago are actually me discovering my purpose for the first time, giving a talk in Manchester to some music students. I walked out of there feeling, I don't know, I'm 6'4". I felt 10 foot tall. I walked out of there, I felt amazing. And the reason I felt so amazing was I'd brought some joy to about 30 students. I'd brought some joy to their lives, talking about my journey in music and then being able to help them as they were getting ready for their journey to get out into the world. And I really felt amazing after that. And I was like, oh, this is part of my purpose, to bring joy. Music brings joy when I play records or when I make records and have a top 10 hit, or when I go and talk to people and I share an experience. It was brilliant. I was just like, this is it. I'm all in. I discovered this in Manchester. I'm laughing because Heather's in Manchester, aren't you, Heather? But I discovered this in Manchester, and it was at the Manchester Midi School with a friend of mine who asked me to come and talk to the students, and it was wonderful. That was the start point, the absolute start point. And from there, it's just grown and grown and grown into what it is today with a huge reach, you know, globally, and helping as many people as possible. So that's purpose, and it takes time and effort and energy to do so. And we're going to come to you guys at the end. Now, creating a vision. I couldn't walk for 18 months after finishing, after 18 months, I couldn't walk basically. And a vision for me was running the London Marathon as I started to recover. I actually held a vision in my mind of running the London Marathon, of crossing the finishing line. I've actually got my eyes closed now and I can see myself running around by Buckingham Palace and up the mall to the finish line. And I visualized that every single day on my training schedule for 4 months before I did the marathon. I was absolutely focused on the vision, bearing in mind that 18 months previously, I was barely able to walk. This happened, and I call it the yellow t-shirt. Here I am crossing London Bridge halfway, looking pretty fresh actually. But the key point here is actually that this was all part of the vision that I held in my mind in order to be able to train and then do it. And that was key. And then as I kept going and going and going, I was pushing myself around and I got myself to the finish line and I managed to cross the finish line. It was a beautiful summer's day. There I am with my medal. I'm smiling. I'd actually visualized myself some years before wearing a yellow shirt. And I don't know quite how that actually happened, but I ended up wearing this bright yellow shirt. Oh, hi, James. Just going to mute you there, mate. So, actually, I crossed the finish line there with my yellow t-shirt on. I'd visualized that some years before, and it all looks amazing, doesn't it? It all looks great. What a beautiful day. What a great vision. What a great achievement. Absolutely amazing. Heather says there, London Marathon was my one marathon to do before 40. I did it at 37. I'm not doing another one. Well, I did 4 in the end, Heather, and I'm not doing any more either. It was punishment. And actually, on that note, this is all the vision. This is all the beautiful stuff. But the reality is actually what you're going to see there, which is that's how I finished when I crossed the finish line in absolute agony. All right. That's the reality. Yeah. And when I saw that picture, it really made me laugh because ultimately, the reality of life is that we have to push through certain times. We have to get things done. But certainly I managed it and it was part of the achievement. But it's a vision. It's the purpose of a vision. The purpose of vision and goal is to get you where you need to get to in this life. All I've got now, everything I do now, it was all once a vision for me when I was bankrupt. Okay. But the question would be, how much time do you spend daily on your vision? Right? On your vision, how much time do you spend daily? Quite often, a lot of people spend more time working on someone else's vision than on their own vision. Now, why would that be? Yeah? Why would that be? You need to think about that. Okay. If you're working on someone else's vision rather than on your own vision, why is that? Okay. Tough questions, but we have to answer them. But it becomes a real interesting piece of work when you start to look at this information in a new way. Once you've got a vision, hold it on the screen of your mind and do not let it go. Look ahead. Keep that vision in your mind always and visualize the person that you'd like to be. I am becoming, the public speaker, the person I saw Bob Proctor being, the person I see Lewis Senior being. I'm becoming that person too, to have a positive effect. Do not look back in anger or forward in fear. Okay, these are big, big problems for humanity, and we miss the present moment by doing it. Being in the present moment allows us to decide on purpose, create vision, and I put here the 10-second memory helps. If any of you have watched Ted Lasso, I've just found out my little 13-year-old nephew is watching Ted Lasso, so I'm really looking forward to sharing more Ted Lasso coaching wisdom with him. But ultimately, he actually said, "What's the happiest animal on the planet?" And the answer was a goldfish. Why? It's got a 10-second memory. Now, just imagine you with a 10-second memory. So you're no longer, stuck to the past. You're no longer worried about the future, but you're just here now with a 10-second memory. It's actually a beautiful thing to actually have. Anyone with particularly high blue percentages can find themselves particularly dwelling on lots of things, whereas others may not. But again, it's key part of self-awareness coaching to understand this. So create your vision and write it down and look at it often. Would you like the multiple sources of income where you hold the vision? How does it feel when you start to do that? Okay. If you can visualize it, you can dream it. There's some way to do it. Now, I agree with that to a point. I'm not just about to become a Premier League footballer at 54, because ultimately that ship has sailed. But the point is that if there's something in your life that you think to yourself, "Yeah, I'd really like to have that. I'd really like to do that." Visualize it first, dream it, think about it, and then think about solutions on how you can get there. It's really going to help you on this journey of life. Certainly helped me. I visualized when I couldn't walk for 18 months, I visualized walking again, running 4 marathons, writing a book, getting married, owning multiple properties, having multiple businesses, being a success coach, public speaking, working with Equilibria. The list goes on. And then what I actually realized when I started in hindsight, I actually realized that I visualized DJing and record production when I was younger too, but I didn't really know that. It just felt great. So I just loved doing it and I just kept going until the wheels came off. But ultimately, these are things that I've visualized since I was late 30s. And they're all things that I achieve and continue to achieve. None of it's an accident, right? It's all deliberate. It's all on purpose. Everything I do there is on purpose. I also realized that I had feared what I had feared and visualized and then manifested disease and bankruptcy. Quite a hard thing to admit, quite a difficult thing to understand about myself, but I had actually visualized those things. I had fear, I visualized, I manifested a disease, hyphenated, and a bankruptcy when I was younger because of the fears that I grew up with and because of things I didn't change or didn't grow with. And actually, that was massive for me because then it's freedom. Because, okay, well, I did create that. So therefore, let's create something different, which is the rest of my life, as you see. Emma and I have our mind map. This actually started out as a little spider map, a spider drawing, like I showed you earlier, with a little sketch. So I just wrote Mark and Emma in the middle, and I just did all these things that came off of it. And you can see this was like 14, 15 years ago. Equilibria is there. Our companies are all here. Life Remixed, book, coaches, people I work with, investments, property. All of this stuff was all here. And actually, this probably needs a little update. But this is the vision. And this is the multiple sources of income that keep us going. And everything there is on purpose for me. And I'm really grateful about it. Now, Bagua vision boards. You can create a vision board. I've got one big one right next to me here with each of these areas covered off. So fame, reputation, love, marriage, helpful people, travel, career success. You can actually create a vision with this Bagua vision board. And it's a really, really good way to do it. All of mine is here, including our next house and the money we're going to earn and book titles and book covers and all that stuff is all there. You create yours, and then that will become your life. It does work. It really, really does work. So with goals, imagine in your mind right now your perfect day and your perfect year. What do they feel like? So I live my perfect day now. I get up. I do my exercises in the morning with my exercise bike. Thank you, John Johnston. I thought about you this morning, mate, when I was on my exercise bike. So I was on my exercise bike. Then I was, up here doing some work, walk the dog, come back, more purpose, more coaching, all the way through until 9 p.m. this evening, and then go again. And it feels great. It feels great. So think about that. Imagine your perfect day. If you're not living it, start to imagine it. Okay. Imagination is the greatest nation in the world, clearly. The perfect year, we're close to it, not quite. We're close to it, but we've got more work to do. But certainly being able to spend longer time in a slightly hotter place will be good over the winter. But certainly the perfect year is something that we're building. But what does it feel like for you? You need to get in touch with this. You need to understand it. And if you think about e-colors again for a moment, while we do the next few slides, consider your top and second e-colors with the next few slides, okay? So I can relate to yellow and red and a little bit of blue. I don't really relate to the green, and I'll show you what I mean. At an e-color sports awareness session in the US, a youth soccer team were asked how they may feel if they were taking a penalty. They decided to answer in their top e-color groups. These are the results. Get ready. These are the greens, okay? There's thinking about it. There's loads of detail. It's cold. I have to compensate for that. The goalkeeper stepped to her left, therefore she might be showing me that side. Huge amount of thinking. Huge amount of thinking goes on before the top colour green steps up to take the penalty. Whereas actually the top color blue is maybe a bit more nervous. Don't want to let the team down. Parents are here. If I miss, I'll be so embarrassed. These are things that we can all relate to. Just depends on our percentages from our e-color results. And the relators say they didn't like taking the penalty. My people, the yellows, and I relate a bit to the blue for sure. The yellows, this is so exciting. All my friends are watching me. Let's do a selfie. And am I looking good? But the last bit here says, is this my good side? But then focus, 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 because that is key for a yellow. Must focus in order to succeed. And the top color reds, pretty simple. Yeah, I just kicked it. Job done. But at the end of the day, we all have something that we are working on or working with. And I think it's very, very important for us to appreciate that each of us has a different outlook on life based on our e-colors. Continuing to set the goals, thoughts. Bob said, set a goal to achieve something that's so big, so exhilarating, it excites you and scares you at the same time. It must be a goal that is so appealing, so much in line with your spiritual core that you can't get it out of your mind. If you do not get chills when you set a goal, you're not setting big enough goals. And I'm going to tell you right now that Lewis Senior and I are going to be in Scotland next week at St Andrews, and we're at a conference offshore decommissioning. And that is going to be a big part of my huge goal that I set many, many years ago, before, or certainly when I started to understand Equilibria. So it takes time and effort and energy, but you've got to keep working for your goals. Okay. Goal setters and achievers are productive. Okay. It's okay to set goals. Decide. Remember the Bob Proctor quote earlier? Decide to do something. Many people, goal setters and goal achievers, can accomplish a lot in a year than many other people will do in a lifetime. Most people fear failure. Okay. Failure, criticism. We touched on fears last week. Go back and watch the session. Most people feel failure so much so that they don't look at the big picture of what they would really like to do or what they could actually achieve. And that's so key. And most people also then become trapped in what they believe is possible for them, yeah, or realistic for them. No, dream a little bit more. Yes, be practical. Yes, be on point. Yes, get things done. Yes, all the positives. And also have a vision. Go, do you know what? That's where I'm going to go. And when I saw Bob speaking with the little microphone around his face and he walking around the stage, I went, yep, that's it. That's what I'm doing. That's going to be for me. My belief system was actually that I'm not a very good public speaker, and I've really worked on that. And those of you that have been at any Life Remixed live events will know that. Don't let things hold you back. Okay, very important. Set your goals. Start with 90 days, then build it up. 1, 3, 5, and 10-year goals. You can achieve a lot in 3 to 12 months for sure. Okay, measure them progress. Get accountable. It's worked for me. It will work for you. Okay, it was great for me to have a coach and have someone to bounce this stuff off. It really helped me keep me on track. As a yellow, focus was very, very important for me. Okay. These things do work. Fill out a goal card, have 10-year goals on it. In the date section, put 2034 and actually set some goals. When we do our next live event, we'll do some goal cards and we'll put them out for people. So we do breakouts and you can actually set your own goals and get them where you want to be. Make sure they're huge. If you know how to reach your goal, it isn't big enough. Which is a great thing to say. Bring in all the practicalities for sure. Bring in all the details you need to bring in, and then just set a nice big goal and say, yeah, that's where I'd like to go. Emma and I, what we like, when we like, with who we like is our goal. We do well, and we'd like to continue on that journey. And it's a very important piece to understand. With money, carry around some cash in your wallet. I've got a number of different currencies in my wallet. I still carry them around with me. What it does is it gives me a feeling of wherever I go in the world, I'll always have some money. Put some £1 million notes up around your house. Convince your subconscious that there's money everywhere, because there is. It does work. Stacey says, I have my card from the first live event and already hit some goals off it. Stacey, amazing. Love you to share a little bit about that at the end as well. That would be fantastic. We also have an individual compass within eColors, which I'm going to send to you all after this call. But certainly something that you can start to map out some of this information for yourself, making sure that we're covering off values blue. That would be purpose there for sure. Your strategy, your mission and your vision. You can set all this stuff out and I will send it to you so that you can use that as a piece of work for yourself. See, we've all failed our way to success. You will fail at something you're not actually in harmony with. And I can say that that absolutely happened for me. Follow your strengths, manage your potential limiters because you're unique. There is a purpose for you on this planet. You're not on this planet to live someone else's dream. You're here to achieve what you would like to achieve. So do not allow anyone else to mess with your purpose, your vision, your goals as you clearly define them. Once you've defined them, stay on purpose. You'll be in a good place. If you're not on purpose, if you're not doing things on purpose, then everything can be off course. Here's a good thing. When you have the right purpose, you'll get the right vision. When you have the right vision, you'll quickly recognize the right goals. But you work this in your order. Some people want to go the other way around. They want goals first, and then they start to achieve a vision and then a purpose. Also fantastic. Whichever way, there's no right or wrong way. It's for you to program that subconscious mind that's there in the middle to actually be on the right hand side of understanding, faith, well-being, expression, and at ease. That is the goal. And if you're prepared to do that, you can be a great leader. You can decide things, you can make things happen, and you can really help a lot of people. It's up to you. Angela says, I've also completed all my goals from the live event at the time. And I said I would. I need to do a new one. Yes, Angela, absolutely. It never ends. It never ends. It's part of it. Thinking positive takes a lot of effort. Making yourself into that place, not forcing yourself, but making yourself into that person that is happy, motivated, encouraged, imaginative, optimistic, etc. All of that is required. It takes time, effort, and energy. I really appreciate you guys being here. Personal initiative, which I share with all my coaching clients if they're coming in with some challenges. Forgive yourself and everyone else. Accept yourself and everyone else, and be really, really grateful to yourself and everyone else. And you start to see results. This helps us build faith, belief, and confidence, getting us to the top of the appreciation mountain and leveraging the diversity of thought from every single human being that we interact with. Makes us good people and good to be around. Make your decisions, believe, take the action, make positive habits, and you're going to get the success that you desire for sure. Procrastination, indifference, and laziness will leave you behind when you live on purpose. There's no time for that. There's no time for that. We've got things we need to achieve. Find a coach, find someone you like, of course. Be accountable, have those sessions, track your progress. Really important for longer term goals, and be flexible and willing to change yourself, your thoughts and feelings to get where you would like to get to, and being honest with yourself. E-Colors is that, gives you self-awareness so you can be honest with yourself. It's a great piece of work. If you leave everyone with the impression of increase for you being there today, they'll want you to be back again tomorrow and the next day and the next day. And that actually is a real positive way to leave every single interaction. So I want to say thank you for listening. I hope that's been really helpful. I'm going to take off the share and I would love to open up the floor. There we go. Reed, are you there? Yeah, Reed, do you want to share a little bit about purpose? Hello, Reed, in Saudi. Can we hear you? Can you speak? Or are you in a? Hang on.
That's
Oh,
it. I've done it. Sorry, a few
done it.
technical
Oh, yeah.
glitches.
How are you?
I'm okay, thank you.
Okay, good. And what do you want to say anything about purpose and what you've defined?
Yeah, well, one thing I would like to share is it took me a long time to get to my purpose.
Yeah.
Um, Over a year of talking through it with Mark and understanding the principles of what it meant, but also I found it very difficult initially to put anything on paper. But I'm there now, but now it's the next stage is living my life through my purpose, which is also some days challenging, right? So it's not always. It's not.
No, I'm going to say, Reed, no one said it was going to be easy, right? But
No, exactly. But when you keep coming back to it as a reference point or as your benchmark,
yeah,
I'm an engineer, so I use all these sort of terms. But as my benchmark, as soon as I feel like I'm getting off track or I'm a bit grumpy or haven't been kind to someone, all those sort of situations that we find ourselves, as soon as I remind myself of my purpose, um, it brings me back to back to that baseline where I need to be. It makes me feel better. I think that's the key. It's how it makes me feel.
absolutely, absolutely. And if you feel good, you then attract good things. And
Yeah,
we know that because of your change of career and now you're making strides forward, etc. Right? I mean, it's
yeah,
it's working, isn't it?
it's working, but it's not easy, as you said. Like I've changed my whole life, actually. I'm now sitting in a different country on my own as part of my goals,
Mm.
um, achieving some of my goals. So there are some sacrifices that one needs to make as well. But in the
Yeah.
long term or medium term, it's worth it.
But the purpose keeps you on track for that bigger
Yeah,
vision, and the goals are just
yeah,
stepping stones, right?
yeah. Back to purpose. I'm in a challenging scenario right now, being away from my family and working abroad. However, again, coming back to my purpose and living through my purpose in this new environment with new people, a country that no one speaks very many people speak English, also helps. It's just keeping that purpose on track in my everyday life, whether it's in challenging times or in not so challenging times. It's
Are
makes
we
a
allowed
difference.
to say what project you're on?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm working for a government entity in Saudi Arabia. I'm working for Red Sea Global.
And what's the island you're building?
Oh, there's a few, but I'm developing islands off the west coast of Saudi Arabia to it's a 2030 vision to bring Saudi Arabia onto the tourism map.
Yeah.
So it's a government initiative to come away from being reliant upon oil.
So there has to be a vision for that to actually happen, right? So really interesting, really interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Reed.
You're
Steve
welcome.
Whiteside, do you want to share anything? Are you still there? Where's he gone? Oh, he's there. Yes,
I'm here. Yes. Good
Steve.
morning, everyone.
You're still on your journey, Steve, aren't you? So
Yeah, you know my life, Mark. I got a little bit overwhelmed a couple of years back, burnout, whatever you want to call it. But I think it's because I lost my way a little bit. I left a job that I loved, where I felt I was on purpose. I was happy and enjoyed and felt fulfilled going to work every day into the fire service, helping others, saving lives, all that kind of nice stuff. And then made a huge decision to leave because I was asked to join a business, and it was just taking off. But it wasn't my creation. But it is my creation now because of the hard work that I put in. But along the way, as you well know, I feel I've lost that purpose.
mm,
And I think that's where I got to. I just felt like I was just working, 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 working. Um, yes, financially, very beneficial, but as we all know, that's not what brings you happiness, it's not what brings you fulfillment.
mm,
So now through my journey of self-development, it's only recently really I've realized I don't have a defined purpose.
mm.
So now I'm trying to work on that, and being a green, not trying to overthink it is difficult. Not trying, not get overwhelmed. In your slides there for a green, when you say think big, if it's not, if you can achieve it tomorrow, it's not big enough. As a green, I'm going, you what?
I'm meant to challenge you, Steve. I'm meant to challenge.
So it's yeah, and I think in the grey matter, in that clouded head of mine, I can see that purpose and that vision. I just can't define it and put clarity on it just yet.
That's fine.
Um, but yeah, so that's where I'm at the moment, on that journey of trying to find what that is for me.
And Steve, it's a brilliant journey to be on, and I'm really grateful to you that we work together one to one and everything. And yeah, a coach's job is to challenge, right? To challenge any e-color or any personality style is to challenge you all. That actually, could you be doing more? Could you grow a bit more? Not just from a Steve's green blue perspective, but for all of us. I can always grow. Lewis challenges me, and people I work with, they challenge me to grow. And great, encourage me, challenge me. It's all part of the positive energy. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Reed. Just come up to time. Would anyone else like to share anything? You're very, very welcome to share. I'm happy to stay on for a few more minutes around their purpose. I can see many of you on the screen. Anyone like to share anything else? I kind of want to go to David Senior before I go to anyone else. David, as I can see you, how do you feel about the sort of purpose and then your individual compass document I'm going to share with everyone?
No, I think it's essential to work on it. And as it's already been mentioned, I'd say that it can be a work in progress. There's things in life that can set you back. I can really recall having a much more set and clear purpose. And then I had two kids and just things get really jumbled up, not in a bad way, but it's just life takes place, things change. And sometimes you feel that you're just going through the current and it's hard to define and put those things to paper. But I would say when they are in paper, when you are living your life through that purpose, vision, it just everything flows better and you build more momentum towards your desired objective. So I mean, for everybody, myself included, I would just say if it's not there 100%, it's absolutely okay and it's a work in progress.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. And that's a good coach or a good guide will always help, others get to where they want to get to. Many parents will often say that their children are their purpose, and I completely get it. I completely understand that. And that can be a 20-year section of life, right? A 20-year purpose. But then the key outside of that is also to make sure that you have, when the children grow and move, that you actually still have a purpose for you. And I do get some people come to me and say, well, I'm lost because my kids were my purpose and then they've gone. What do I do now? And so that's important to clearly define your own version of why you're on this planet, why you're here, what are you doing? Great, to bring up the family, of course, in a responsible manner, that's wonderful. But yeah, look, amazing session, great, lots to think about. Anyone else like to share anything? Steve, you've got your hand back up. Go on.
Yeah, why not?
Go on.
But sometimes it can be overwhelming, like looking at really, really big and all that. But it's still okay, right, to look at what it is you enjoy, and then do that in small parts outside. Because sometimes we can look at a job as just, if you look at your job sometimes as just financial, you've got to pay the bills at the end of the day. And it's for some people it could be too, well, I can't pull away from that and then go and start working for myself, doing what I love, because it just, it's just sometimes it's not going to work. That's a massive, massive step for people. But if you enjoy helping others, there's nothing to stop you getting involved in forums, communities outside your work that makes you feel better about yourself. And then that might grow into something. I've just recently gone back to, I've been listening to a book about Ikigai, which is very similar to all this. And it talks about that and what do you enjoy as a child. I used to be a drummer in a marching band and I used to love it.
Nice.
And so I've asked for 10 drumming lessons for Christmas. I thought I'm going to start looking back at my childhood.
Yeah.
And see if that starts bringing things through a little bit. So I think you
Steve,
can
that's
do
great.
things in smaller chunks and not always think too big.
That is a great observation. And I often ask people, what did you like to do before you were 10 years of age? And for me, it was listening to the Elvis and the Beatles and what's those feelings of great music that really kind of moved my soul. And that's how I ended up doing music. And therefore, people say to me, don't you miss music? Well, no, it's still part of my life. But eColors coaching and everything else is actually in line with bringing joy to others. So Steve, great point about, what did you like to do before you were, 10 years of age, and then go back and revisit it, because you will find, some structure there potentially and some purpose to what you're doing, which I think will be great. And I'm sure your neighbours will love the drumming lessons. And one of the other things I would add to that as well is I was reminded of a Tony Robbins quote when you were talking. It was very much about, look, we all want to sort of sit around, we want to meditate, we want to be, make sure we're peace and love and everything's fine. But if you don't do your work and pay your bills, they'll come and take your house. So there has to be a balance between making sure that we're earning the money that we like to earn and also finding that fulfillment and joy. And if you can marry those two things together, then actually life can become amazing. But that might take some time to develop that as well. So brilliant share. Thank you. Anyone else? I kind of want to speak to Jennifer, because Jennifer, is it not the middle of the night where you are? Has she gone? Oh, I'll come to you. Jennifer, hi.
Hi, Mark. Nice to meet you virtually.
Yeah,
Happy
absolutely. Yeah, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. So for everyone, my e-colors are blue over yellow, and I do live in Houston, Texas.
So it's the middle of the night.
It is 4 a.m. at the time right now.
Well,
but great session. I look forward to next week. This is amazing. I really need it. This is great, really.
So just to put a little definition on that, you were one of the first e-color champions in school 16 years ago. Is that right?
Yeah, but so I was in 11th grade when I started my journey with e-colors and back in high school. I met Lewis, David, Laura, and then just applied all the tools throughout my life. And here I am today, uh, trying to gain a purpose, find my purpose still, in a sense where I do love to make sure I influence someone tomorrow, have a better tomorrow than today, and how I can also make sure to remain respectful and not offend anyone. And with the tools that I've utilized and I've gained, really it's helpful to know when I need to be straightforward or be in more detail or whatnot. But overall, finding my purpose still, I don't think that's a bad thing in terms of where what it is that I need to do that truly makes me happy. And overall, I found my purpose with my family and what makes us happy. And financially, I'm getting there. So that's where I stand. But great sessions. I do like the fact that you pointed out writing down the goals, start with the 90 days, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, so on. I'm definitely going to do that, and we'll see what it leads me to. So
brilliant.
yes.
And I think we've got one of the school's videos. I'm sure you feature in it. Like some 16 years ago as a blue yellow, you were saying I would never naturally put my hand up or get involved in something, but now you're a lot more willing to do so. Is that fair?
Yes, yes. And yes, and as a blue yellow, like always being extremely shy, and getting out of my comfort zone was hard for me. And with my career in accounting, um, I decided to continue to grow in what I do in my career. But um, I feel like if I would have never utilized the skills that I've learned, I would have never wanted to step out of my comfort zone to manage people and whatnot, just more so take orders and be more of a team player. I did decide to recently take a position as a corporate compliance manager. Unfortunately, that only lasted like 6 weeks for me because I was in a position where the leader involved was just not in line. The leadership skills was not in line with what I believe in. So I had to make a decision that that's not the type of leadership that I wanted to be under. And I try to emphasize a better change as to people getting treated better, but that's not the vision he had in mind. So that
Jennifer,
ended for me there.
I've met people like that as well. It's fine.
Oh, okay. It'll be nice for us to talk about that.
For sure.
That's where I currently stand right now in terms of my career.
Hey,
So
listen, it's a great shout. You need to work with people that you're aligned with. And I've met some people that I'm not aligned with, and it's not a pleasant experience. So fair play to you for not being involved in something that you don't believe in. I think that's fantastic. Yeah, you are. And I just wrote down here, we're just warming up, Jennifer. We're just getting going on this global journey. We're just getting going. Equilibria and E-Colors have done some amazing work, but watch this space because there's a lot more coming. So yeah, we can talk anytime, Jennifer, but probably not 4 o'clock in the morning for you next time. But anyway, I really do appreciate you being here, and that's why I came to you. So thank you for that. Anyone else like to share anything? Kind of want to go to Jane in Australia for some reason because we've gone from 4 a.m. What time is it in Australia?
Oh, it's 9:10 at night, so it's in the evening. So I'm still awake just. But I was just going on from what Steve was saying about doing something that you've done in your childhood. And, I have my own business and I'm passionate about my own business and I love that. But I was working from home and I was finding that I was getting so just in the thick of things and being a social person that I wasn't getting enough social interaction. And actually, as a child, my business is very woo-woo. I'm a psychic medium and part of it. And I used to do Ouija boards and, I scared all the crap out of all my friends at school, but that was my zone of genius. Why is everyone scared of this? It was my zone of genius. But I also became aware that I used to love dressing my dolls and I would immediately get the clothes off them, cut them up, change them, mess them around and move them. And so what I've done recently is gone back 30 years. I'm in my 50s, and in my 20s I loved retail. I loved fashion. I was in the fashion industry. That was my high. It fed me. It gave me so much joy. I loved selling. I loved making people feel beautiful in clothes. But I got sick. So I got MS and got really sick, and my whole career was taken away, and I had to reinvent myself. But what I've done now is I've gone back to just plain old retail. And so I was like, I had all this shame around it of like, oh my God, I'm going back like 30 years. My mum was like, what are you doing? That's something you did in your 20s. Why on earth would you do that now? And I had all this shame around it. Then I realized I have so much joy dressing people and styling people and making people feel beautiful in their clothes. I just reframed it, and I do 1 to 2 shifts a week. It's my hobby job.
Mhm.
Once I reframed it to my hobby job,
Mhm.
I could totally feel the passion in. It doesn't pay the bills. And I reframed it to like, okay, I get 10,000 steps up. So
Mhm.
I'm getting a free workout. I'm getting paid to work out. And I have this fabulous space of, I'm really good at selling, so I don't pay for any of the clothes that I wear, and it's a really high fashion store, and because I get so much high sales, I get free clothing. So just to flip it from, I'm going backwards 30 years to flipping it to saying, this is just something that brings me joy. And every time I dress somebody and I see them look at themselves in the mirror and I see them go like, wow, I look incredible, I feel that joy as well. And so when I see their joy, it radiates out of me. And I had somebody say that to me like recently, why are you so joyful when you're doing this? Because I feel their joy.
That's
And even
beautiful.
though it's not a big paying job, it's fuel.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, absolutely, Jane. Absolutely. And it's very much about where you get your passion. I, as a top color yellow as well, I relate very much to what you just said. And also, the creative aspect, finding the positive in everything, but each of us are going to find a different way to do that, right? But yeah, really great share, Jane. And thank you for bringing it. I'm so pleased to see you. And we're truly global, right? From Houston
Yeah,
to Australia. Brilliant work.
yeah.
Absolutely wonderful. I think Heather just dropped off, didn't she? Yeah, Heather's just dropped off. But she said she's trying to get out from underneath a micromanager at the moment and stuff like that as well. So again, you have to be in tune with your leadership and the people you work with, but most importantly, in tune with yourselves. So unless anyone's got anything else, I shall love you and leave you. I think it's been a fantastic session, lots to think about, and I'll be in touch. I'll ping you out a few attachments and things that we've spoken about, and then we'll all get back to it for next week. All right, lots of love, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Thanks all. See ya.